everybody. It is day 24 of the 31 and 31 Kaiju Fest, and we are now into the Millennium series of Godzilla films. We had a break for a little while between 95 and now 99. Again, Godzilla 98 does not fucking count. I don't care. You can just get Zilla on out of here, and hopefully he will be soon. And so we start off with Godzilla 2000. Now, before I do my normal review, I want to tell a little story about this and, sadly, Godzilla 1998. So I have two longtime friends, okay? And we all decided together, I was home from college when this came out, which was a long time ago. It was sometime after my first year, I want to say. It was there. Came home. It was out during the summer. My friend, one of my really good friends, he's half Japanese, half Peruvian. So he grew up just as I did watching these Godzilla films. Now, our other friend, who, is David, he has never really seen it. And his first Godzilla experience happened to be Godzilla in 98. So he was actually kind of stoked to go see this. And we're like, really? You want to see this? And, my other buddy, Chris, he was like, he and I were totally like, oh my God, this is going to be great because, hey, it's not that piece of shit from 98. This is a true Godzilla film. So we watched it. And I really, really enjoyed it. I enjoyed seeing it in the cinemas. It was the first time I had ever seen a Godzilla movie on the big screen, a real Godzilla movie. And same thing for him, even though it was dubbed in English. And for me growing up, everything was dubbed in English when it came to Godzilla films. So, it didn't really bother me that much. But I know he would have preferred to watch it the way I watched it tonight in the original Japanese. Our friend David, on the other hand, hated this movie. Like, he did not know why it had to be this way. Why Godzilla was a guy in a suit. Why everything was so slow leading up to the kaiju fights, and then when they finally fought the kaiju, why was it the way that it was, and why couldn't it have been like, it's like the story was better than the other one, and all of a sudden I'm like, are you fucking high? Like, I know you don't do anything, but you're fucking high right now, because this was a great Godzilla film, at least comparatively to Godzilla 98. So, what is this Godzilla film about? Well, basically, you got a couple of people. You got Godzilla Chaser trying to get pictures of Godzilla so that way she can move ahead in her career. And then you got the Godzilla Prediction Network, which is a father and a daughter. And they're taking her out. And they actually find Godzilla, who's once again roaming the land side. They get their pictures. Well, she thinks she gets her pictures. It's actually a pretty interesting scene. Especially when Godzilla just randomly shows up in front of them and they have to back up. I really enjoyed that little bit. And so Godzilla goes on and they find something else in the water at the same time. Some scientists do. And it turns out to be some type of alien thing that crash landed in the planet years and years ago. Makes me wonder if that was that satellite or that meteorite that Mothra was talking about in Mothra versus Godzilla. Where Batara was supposed to take care of it and then he never did because he died. And Mothra was supposed to take care of it. So I don't know. Maybe this is connected. Part of me thought, and I don't think it's true, but I really thought that this was, because the Godzilla design is so different, that this was actually Godzilla Jr. and this might have been a continuation. But I think at the ending of the movie, you kind of figure out that, it's probably not. So they basically are trying to find a way to stop Godzilla, the military is. And this guy wants to just kind of live with Godzilla and study him some more. And that's why he has the prediction network, to predict where he's going to be, to basically protect the people, because maybe we can't actually kill him. He ends up finding out some information Godzilla and calls his genes Generator 1, G1, which is basically what allows Godzilla to regenerate. And that's why, even though he got plummeted with these missiles that are supposedly boring so they can hit him, and he actually manages to get a piece of Godzilla's skin, which is kind of interesting. But that's what allows him to regenerate the whole time that he gets beat up, and then he's perfectly fine. Well, with this thing that they found in the ocean, their lights, and this is probably the dumbest thing, their lights actually raise it from the dead because it crashed in the ocean in a part that was so deep that it was, basically he couldn't get any sunlight, and that's how this thing powered up or whatever like that. So it's fucking solar powered, and it couldn't do that. Well, it ends up coming out of the ocean, turns out to be a UFO, and it figures out that it does attack Godzilla, and they both kind of breathe their own breath on each other. Well, it shoots like a laser, and Godzilla does his fire breath. And in this one, it's not like the blue radioactive breath, it's the red breath. That's why I thought that maybe this is the sun, because I don't remember him having blue breath, or the only time he had the red breath was when he was going to blow up, and then he might have passed it on to the sun. Fuck if I know, but we'll say that it's not. So they knock each other out, and then it's really about what information is this thing trying to get. Now, I will say in this film, because there's a scene that reminds me of Independence Day in this film, but the human story of this film, I can't believe I'm going to say this, it's my favorite part, and this is my favorite Godzilla movie to have it, next to the original. It's just really good. Like, I like the characters, they're all well acted, they all, like, it seems like they put the most amount of, like, time and love into this human story, and it's really just about the scientists trying to figure out shit about what's going on with this alien thing and what's going on with Godzilla. It's amazing. It works on so many levels. It's great. Love it. And I love that scene when he's trying to get the last bit of information, and then they decide to blow up the thing because the guy has some type of thing against him, and I don't know what the fuck it really is. They never really explained that well, or I didn't pay attention to it enough. One of the two. But it all comes down to the UFO fighting Godzilla and trying to become the next Godzilla. You see, he figures out it can use the G1 cells to generate itself a body and bring it back to life, because for some reason it's all stored inside the spaceship, this UFO that's there. So the UFO sends all these tentacles out to Godzilla, wraps him up. Godzilla's able to break free using his fire breath. And then, of course, it does start to turn into the monster, and we get the kaiju on kaiju battle that we wanted. There is a funny scene where the spaceship seems to come out of the middle of nowhere and knock Godzilla on the head, but then, of course, Godzilla fights back, and eventually he is able to first destroy the UFO, and then when the guy is trying to eat him, he turns into this giant fucking monster, and he opens his mouth, and he's like kind of like fish-like, but he's got Godzilla's generating powers, and then he puts Godzilla all in his mouth and starts like sucking the life out of him. First of all, the life out of him, and then Godzilla goes nope and turns on his fire breath and just blows him up from the inside. Fucking awesome. Love it. Then the last part of the film I enjoy. There's two parts. It's actually kind of interesting. The first is the bad guy of the human story. He gets his comeuppance. Godzilla shows up to the building, looks at him, and he's like, no, it's the first time I've seen him up close. And then he stands there, and Godzilla knocks the building out, throwing him down to the ground, and then walks away while everybody else is basically saved. So you get the bad guy. He gets what is up. And then they start talking about how they've created Godzilla and this monster and blah, blah, blah. And the last scene in the movie that you get to see is Godzilla laying waste to Tokyo with the fire around him, and then slowly going into the camera, looking at his face with the, credits rolling on top of it. Really, really enjoyed that. So what would I give this film? I'm actually going to give it a 4 out of 5. And the reason I'm giving it a 4 out of 5 because the kaiju stuff is just okay. It really is the human story. It's great. I just really like it. It surprises the hell out of me. 2 shitty posters for both the Japanese and the US release, but a good Godzilla film still holds up for me. So we'll see you tomorrow with another 31 and 31, not 21 and 21, what the fuck. And we're getting close to the end. Tomorrow's day 25, and we'll have to see what goes on against Megaris. I'll see you later.